Before you hear this story, remember one thing. Some artifacts are not meant to be owned, only returned. Subscribe now if you want more true-style dark stories about ancient relics, forgotten oaths, and objects that refuse to stay silent. These are not legends. These are the things history tried to bury. The ring was found beneath stone that had not been moved for centuries. During restoration work on the remains of a collapsed chapel in northern Italy, workers uncovered a narrow cavity beneath the original foundation. Inside, wrapped in decayed cloth, lay a single object, a heavy gold ring. There are no bones, no inscriptions, no markers to explain why it had been placed there. Only the ring, sealed away in silence. It was crude in design. Thick band, no gemstone, no ornamentation meant to impress. On the inner surface, however, there was something else, a symbol worn nearly smooth by time. It looked intentional, yet unrecognizable, as if it belonged to a language no longer spoken. The ring was passed to a local antiquities collector who specialized in religious artifacts. He assumed it was a votive offering, perhaps buried during a time of plague or war. To him, it was valuable only for its age and weight. He tried it on. The gold was cold, not cool in the way metal often feels, but cold in a way that lingered. Even after removing it, the sensation remained on his skin. He dismissed the feeling as imagination and placed the ring on his bedside table before going to sleep. That night, he woke suddenly. There was no sound, no movement, only the clear and unmistakable sensation of pressure around his finger, followed by release. As if something had carefully loosened its grip. His hand was empty. The ring was not on the floor, not under the bed, not anywhere in the room. In the morning, he found it resting in the center of his kitchen table. He told no one. The collector attempted to secure the ring the following night. He locked it inside a small iron box and placed the box inside a cabinet. He checked it twice before going to bed. When he woke, the cabinet door was open. The iron box was still locked. The ring was gone. Later that afternoon, he discovered it inside his coat pocket, the same coat he had worn the day before and hung untouched in the hallway. He stopped wearing the ring after that. Instead, he tried to sell it. The buyer was a jeweler from another town. The transaction was brief. The ring changed hands. The collector felt relief almost immediately, as though something had finally left with it. 3 days later, the jeweler returned. He did not ask for a refund. He did not accuse anyone of deception. He simply placed the ring on the counter and said he no longer wanted it in his shop. According to him, the ring could not be kept in a display case. Every morning, it was found outside of it, on the counter, on the floor, once balanced carefully on the shop's door handle. He claimed that the ring had never been stolen. It had been moved. The jeweler admitted that he had worn it once, briefly, to test the size. That same night, he dreamed of stone walls and hands pulling gently at his fingers. He woke with the sensation of cold metal sliding away from his skin. The ring was on the windowsill, facing outward, as if it had been placed there deliberately. The collector refunded him without argument. Within months, the ring passed through several owners. Each experience was different in detail, but identical in outcome. No one could keep it where they placed it. No one ever found it where it was supposed to be. Most disturbing of all, the ring was never discovered on a person. It appeared on furniture, on thresholds, inside shoes, once inside a locked drawer that had not been opened, always nearby, never worn. Whispers began to circulate. Some believed the ring had been removed from a grave. Others suggested it was a symbol of a broken vow, buried to seal an oath that should not have been disturbed. By the time the ring vanished from official record, no one was willing to document it further. Notes disappeared. Photographs were misplaced. Receipts were quietly destroyed. The ring continued to move, not away from people, but back to them. The last confirmed record placed the ring in the hands of a private dealer operating out of southern France. He specialized in early medieval gold work and rarely kept items longer than a few weeks. According to his inventory logs, The ring was cataloged, photographed, weighed, and placed in a climate-controlled safe. On the third night, the alarm system was triggered. Security footage showed no intrusion. No doors opened. No movement inside the room. Yet when the dealer arrived, the safe was unlocked. The ring was not inside. It was resting on his desk, centered, perfectly aligned. The dealer claimed he felt watched while handling it after that. Not followed, not threatened, simply observed, as though the ring was aware of where it was and who stood near it. He refused to touch it with bare hands again, using gloves to place it inside a sealed evidence bag. The following morning, the bag was intact. The ring was gone. It was later found inside the pocket of his gloves. The dealer ended all attempts to sell it. Instead, he contacted a historian known for studying monastic orders that vanished during the early Middle Ages. The historian recognized the inner symbol immediately, not as a family crest or religious mark, but as a binding sign. A mark used in ritual contracts meant to outlast the lives of those who swore them. According to fragmented manuscripts, such rings were never meant to be worn permanently. They were used once, placed upon the hand during the taking of a vow, and then removed and sealed away. To keep wearing such a ring was believed to invite the return of the obligation it represented. The historian warned him to return the ring to where it was found. The dealer delayed. That same week, he began to lose time. Entire hours vanished from his memory. He would sit down at his desk and look up to find the sun had shifted. His hands would ache, particularly his ring finger, red and swollen despite the ring never touching his skin. One evening, he discovered dirt beneath his fingernails. Old dirt, pale stone dust. The ring was on his nightstand. He arranged for the ring to be transported back to Italy, to the chapel ruins where it had been uncovered. The courier service documented the package carefully. The seal was signed. The crate was tracked continuously. The ring never arrived. Instead, it was found 3 days later in the dealer's home, placed inside a ceramic bowl he did not own. After that, the dealer disappeared. No signs of struggle. No financial motive. His passport, wallet, and phone remained behind. The only thing missing from the house was the ring. Months later, during excavation work near the original chapel site, workers discovered a shallow cavity beneath a fallen wall. Inside was a small indentation in the stone, perfectly circular, as if something had once rested there for a very long time. There was no ring inside, but the stone was warm to the touch. From that point on, reports became rare and fragmented. A gold band appearing briefly in private collections. An artifact that could not be photographed clearly. A piece of jewelry that caused its owners to suffer exhaustion, disorientation, and an overwhelming urge to remove it from their possession. The ring was never stolen. It was always returned, not to the ground, but to the nearest witness. And each time it reappeared, it seemed closer to where it had been sealed away the first time, as if the object remembered its purpose and was slowly correcting a mistake. In the final report, the ring was listed as missing. No recovery was recorded. No transfer documented. No explanation offered. Yet locals near the ruined chapel began to notice small changes. Stones that had been cold for decades felt warm at dawn. The ground beneath the foundation settled, as if something below had finally stopped shifting. Animals avoided the site. Birds never landed on the walls. Years later, during a controlled archaeological survey, a sealed chamber was discovered beneath the original cavity. Inside was a single stone slab, untouched, unbroken. Embedded at its center was a circular impression. Nothing more. No gold. No markings. No artifact to display. Only the absence of something that no longer needed to move. Those who studied the case reached a quiet agreement. The ring was never cursed. It was unfinished, disturbed before its purpose was complete. Every movement, every return, every trace of fear it left behind was not malice, but correction. The vow had been broken, and the object had only one task: to be returned.